if you don't love me like I love you, why do you let me go and play the fool? Why do you hold me and kiss me like you do when you know that everything's just fun and games till if you don't want me anymore like I want you, why not stop me right now? Oh, and say we're through. Why do you let me go, making love to you when you know that everything's just fun and games till is it because you don't know what your heart's for? Oh, yeah, the things that you treat like you do. Oh, baby, you never, ever been in love before. Oh, it's time to heaven to you. If you don't need me, why not release me from the pain? The pain put me through. There's a chance I'm getting through. Oh, I do what you want me to. Oh, so everything. Oh, baby, everything is my wanting you, needing you. What the pain? Oh, everything just fun and games. Just fun and games. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you need me, baby? Don't you love me, baby? Love me, love me like I love you.
There we go. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Karen Lawrence and Blue by Nature. Tommy's here, whomagoo, and she is my guest live on the horn. Let me stop the jams here. Hello, Karen. How you doing?
Hey, good, Tom. Thanks. Great.
Thanks for coming on air today. And Blue
My
by
pleasure.
Nature, you got just an amazing background. Why don't you just start the audience and tell us, you've been working since 9 years old and building up to the fabulous lady you are today, an artist?
Well, I was performing since then, but having musical parents, but not professional, we were kind of putting on little shows since we were little. But I got a ventriloquist dummy when I was like 9. So I just had nerves. Audacious nerves. And contest rolled around. I entered a contest. Honestly, I really had no skills whatsoever, but I entered the contest and then learned to play guitar. A friend of mine got a guitar instead of a ventriloquist dummy, and I went and got one as well. We both learned to play guitar, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's true that I could only play 4 strings, like chords on 4 strings. Any guitar players out there will know what I'm talking about. I was only on the metal bass section that covered 4 strings, and I started doing shows. Kind of weird. So I don't know if you could say I was Las Vegas material at 9, but I guess, I was down in the trenches paying my dues back at 9.
Well,
and I got in a band. I got into a band early. That's the best part. And that's the kind of thing I kind of recommend to anybody, I think there's a song about it. Brad Paisley, I think, wrote a song about it, Get a guitar and start a band, Can't recommend it more highly.
And we were talking before we came on here about finding that passion in life and that groove. I'm trying to do my little thing and having some fun, trying to bring music out the best I can, not being a musician that I can do this part. Yeah. But then you were saying early on, when you reach that passion, that's what you've been finding out. And I see that as I work with the schools and kids too. They find these young age the music, and that's just a God-given gift that you have.
Yeah, and I think it's more popular now with the shows like American Idol, where it's encouraged more at a young age. Obviously, there are a lot of really talented young people out there, where in my I hate to say it this way, but in my day or whatever, it wasn't as popular, and of course it was harder to get seen, before television. Just kidding about that, before television cracked. But you know what? The passion can also be in dance or athletics, honestly. Like I think of a great basketball player, a person who's really great at what they do. Then you have the freedom to throw your passion into it because you've got the background in your skill that makes the skill kind of automatic. So those are the kind of things that really excite me when I see somebody throwing that passion into it. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start. Oh, I don't know. What am I talking? I'm blithering. I'm blathering.
You're doing great, and I love it. I love to hear about those stories for coming on, and especially the things that I'm an old guy, and I love the LA Jets that you were with back in the day, and all that early. We're talking 70s and 80s, and rock was, to me, that was a happening time in music.
It was, and we had no restrictions. We didn't have the kind of bands that I was in. Never considered radio top 40. We had FM radio back then that played the long cuts, the deep cuts, and nobody even listened to the radio till midnight, because there wasn't anything on that we wanted to hear. So the good stuff were the deep cuts and the things that were just, freedom of expression or a lot of jamming,
A lot of the college radio back then, too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't really know on account of it. You know what? I was pretty young back then. And even now I don't listen to a lot of radio. It's more like, I hate to say this, but I hardly ever listen to music on the radio because if I'm in a place where there could be a radio on, I'm usually making up tunes and stuff. And I mean it, honestly. It's kind of weird. But, like in my car or something like that, no way. I have it set to my Sirius radio set to the blues station, but I hardly ever listen. Now and then I'll pop it on, and then I just pop it off again and just start, kind of zoning out on in my own
ambience of the day. Yeah, your little setting that you have, and that through that creative, hearing the other music.
Yeah,
you're always in your tone.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just don't really listen to it, or I'll go start listening to my weird tracks that I've been working on in the house, and my mixes. But going back to that era, there was a lot of great music back then in the LA Jets thing, and honestly, I just don't think we had a clue about radio. And once you get signed, as we were fortunate enough to get, we did get signed, and then they start talking about radio play. And that's when it turns into a business kind of thing, and it's so removed from where I was at. I was pretty young, but I think a lot of musicians of the 70s, most of us were liking blues-based kind of stuff. We just weren't into that kind of thing. And I didn't think that Led Zeppelin was being played on AM radio or whatever kind of radio it was. So FM turned into, in the late 70s, FM radio became like pop radio. And that's when it gets really difficult for me to deal with.
Yeah, because it doesn't have that. You're right. I grew up with WZMF in our area. It was a low-powered FM, and you're right, at night. You could hear David Bowie and Diamond Dogs, and, listen to what they're playing on here. I'm like, Jethro Tull and all this deep stuff. And they play the whole album.
Oh, yeah, I never heard that. Yeah, go buy the album now. I never heard that. Now I'm going to go buy the album. Exactly.
And,
that was the fun stuff to me. I'm not great at I don't know, contriving it, I guess. Yeah, I probably couldn't write a hit song if they paid me $1 million. I could try.
But you can flow with the groove. That's what you can do. You have that. That long-term groove artist about you.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, I like that part. I can say I'm good at that.
Let's jam a little one of your tunes right now. Another Day, Another Mile live that we have here. Karen Lawrence is my guest here. Talk about that one quickly.
Well, that's just another little simple groove tune, Songs just pop into my head, and like a phrase, or I talk to myself in the car, and bam, okay, got a song. And back then we were, anything I said to myself, I needed a song. Boom, that's a song. I write a whole song about it. I don't like to tell who and how, really, it's just, hey, that's up to the listener. Let them interpret it, But, I usually had something going on.
Well, let's go with it. Another Day, Another Mile live. Karen Lawrence. Thanks, everybody. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. In the mood for ya. Swing your breath,
at home. Yeah, baby, put a candle in your window so I know that you're at home.